Yo. Welcome to another episode of the HA podcast. This is Coach A. I hope that you guys have missed, I would say us, but right now it's just me. For today, I know that I have definitely missed being up on the boom mic and everything. But things have just gotten a little busy with hoops, basketball season starting up, all that jazz. So we have a whole bunch to talk about. So I figured, why not hop back onto the mic, start up another episode of the podcast, and not keep you guys hanging. So I hope that you guys have missed us. Have some real good topics to talk about for today, including one big one on mental health. Deals with a little bit of a personal story. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so moving straight into the nitty gritty. Mental health as an athlete, extremely important, something that we here at Hoops Academy take very seriously in terms of making sure our athletes have the adequate resources in order to not just assess, but to also take care of their mental health and all that jazz. And the reason that I'm bringing it up is going into the basketball season, it can definitely take a toll on your mental health, especially in terms of just the amount of games played, the just the stress and toll it takes on your body, practices, having to travel, all that jazz. And the reason I wanted to start off here is because I actually have a story. Back when I was in college, I went to ORU, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Big shout out to them. Actually just saw them play up at CSU for their opener of the season. They low-key got blown out. But in the first half, it was close. It was close in the first half. We had them in the first half, not gonna lie. So, ORU, this was back in 2017. I worked as a student manager for the basketball teams, and I worked on both the boys and the girls sides, primarily with the boys, but every once in a while the girls would come in and hoop. I'd run with them, I'll play against them, rebound for them, whatever. And there's this young lady named Ashley Beatty, super friendly, super kind and warm, honestly low-key pretty popular on campus. She was just a dope-ass person, and I really enjoyed, just like getting to talk to her and get to know her a little bit more. And she played on the basketball team, and unfortunately, this was back in 2017. I'll never forget the day. It was June 15th. She actually took her own life, and it was a shock to everybody because, one, I had literally just seen her like a few weeks before, school let out, just seen her and everything. And then I find out, because you don't expect it, especially when you had just seen the person like a little bit ago, or like the friend who was telling me was like, yeah, I had seen her earlier that day and she was doing just fine. And then a couple hours later, boom, she was gone.
It was June 15th, 2017. I saw her that morning. We were at basketball camp, dropped her off at her dorm in the afternoon, and that was the last time I saw her alive. Later that day, I got notified that she did take her own life, and so that was 4.5 years ago, and sometimes it still feels like the moment it happened. My life is never gonna be the same because I lost my sister. I will never get her back, but tried my best to push through the hard times, and being an athlete has helped me. That's the same place I can find my strength. Being Native and knowing that the generations before me have overcome so much. Our culture and our ceremonies and our dances, that has been one of the most grounding things for me that has helped me come out on the other side of this. My Dakota name is Huhuashtewia, and it means good voice woman.
And I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. I just didn't expect anything like that to happen, especially not with her, because she was such a bubbly, joyful, and nice person to every single person that she met. It was just so out of left field, So the reason I bring that up is a lot of times when you pass by teammates or when you just pass by people in school in general, a lot of times, a lot of people will put on a real happy face and shit. But deep down, they're really struggling with something, It could be something at home. It could even be relationship stuff, because that shit is pretty tough nowadays, a significant other and things like that, what other people will think about you, job stuff. Honestly, I've also seen it. Some kids or players, going through transition of moving, or maybe their parents lost a job. Like, there are a whole bunch of different factors that can go into someone feeling like their only way out is to take their own life. And that's, again, something that we here at Hoops Academy try to be very open about, of like, hey, like, if you're struggling with any of the aforementioned things, let us know as a coach, or let someone that you really trust know, so that way we can walk you through it. So again, the reason I bring up this story is sometimes some of the happiest people can be some of the, most broken on the inside. So don't allow, that outward facade to like fool you and stuff like that. That's just something I kind of wanted to start off with. Again, if you're a part of Hoops Academy, me, Coach Clay, Coach Nick, we're always available just to, like I said, do those things that we can do just to help you out. Other and better options are reaching out for that help that you might need, especially when you feel like you're going through it. I know I've had to go through it. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Some days I'd be at practice putting on a happy face, just like telling everybody rah rah, like let's go, let's get after it, you know what I'm saying? And on the inside I'm feeling like shit that day. But again, that's why I have that circle and that group of friends that I can go to when I do feel like shit. And we can talk. All right, moving on to some more basketball related stuff. Let's talk about the college season. Yes, college basketball is back. I don't remember the theme song off the top of my head, but I'm going to throw that in there. Shout out to the NCAA. We finally have fans back in the stands. Oh man, I missed that. I actually went back and rewatched the national championship games for both the men's and the women's. And it's just weird not having people in the stands, you know what I'm saying? It's just weird. So it's really nice to have that back. And let's just talk about a couple of teams. We'll start on the women's side. UConn. Yo, Paige Beckers. Holy shit. Dangerous, yo. Dangerous. Low-key, I did see her out in Vegas. I can confirm that was her. But low-key was a little dark outside and shit. And like, I went to B-dubs. I got some wings. Like, I came out and like I saw like someone like just standing there, outside, and she was a little taller, so I was like, oh, she's probably a hooper. And I looked at her again, I was like, oh shit, like blonde hair, blue eyes, hoodie up. I was like, oh shit, that might be Paige Beckers. I should have stopped and like said hi or some shit. Yeah, I didn't. I was a little nervous. I ain't gonna cap. Not like starstruck nervous, just of like, hey, damn, like, hey, how you doing? How you feeling? Shit like that.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything on the upcoming season. I'm just saying that UConn is looking dangerous. Paige Beckers, I think she put up like 34 points the last game. The people they have coming in off the bench, crazy good as well. It's like, yeah, they have a pretty dope squad going into this year. However, I have seen quite a few transfers coming out of UConn going to different schools, and I can only imagine it's because of playing time. Again, I have told every athlete this: go where you are wanted. Don't just chase a name. I have legit told some athletes, like, yeah, you can go to this high school, you can do this, you can play for this club team, but you might get 5 minutes a game, maybe. And again, playing time is not everything, especially for my younger players. If you are like playing up, or let's say you're playing on a pretty stacked team and you don't get as much PT, there's nothing wrong with that. However, I'm talking more for like, just I'm not even going to front, but like those who just like go from AAU team to AAU team, or just choose the best one, quote unquote, because they, have all these stacked players. I'm just like, if they have a stacked starting five, what in the world makes you think you're going to crack into that starting five? Especially if they've been playing together for like 3+ years. No, like, I really don't care like how good you are. Like, that coach has got it pretty set in his mind. Like, hey, I've been coaching them since 8th grade. They're juniors now. I'm keeping my same starting five unless someone gets hurt. But again, go where you're wanted. Don't just chase after a name, Like, realistically, even if you do like make their team, how many touches per game are you getting? Maybe 2? Maybe. And like, that's if you're cracking their 8 to 9 man rotation, So it's like, again, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being part of a stacked team or anything. Just chasing after a brand name or something like that, like that'll only get you so far. Because especially when you go to college scouts or whatever, like, oh, I played for this AAU club. Oh, really? Like, how many points did you score? Oh, like, I scored like 5 points a game. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh yeah, I didn't get very much playing time. Well, I don't really care. Like, let's talk Duke. Duke men's basketball. Hey, yo. Duke's defense is like a coach's dream, yo. I am telling you this right now. Yeah, Duke has just been killing it. I think they're 4-0. This might change by the time this video drops because I think they might be playing tonight. I don't remember. But I think they're 4-0 as of now, and their defense, pretty incredible. Offensively, they look good too, but their defense really stood out to me. Going back to the women's side, Iowa and Caitlin Clark, yo. Oh my God, she is a fucking bucket, yo. Like, I'm talking about she's pulling up from 30 feet and like cashing that shit. Like, yeah, if you guys have not seen Caitlin Clark play, do yourselves a favor and watch her play. She just recently played against University of Northern Iowa. I forget how many points she had, but some of those buckets, yo, I was like, damn. Like, they're just tough buckets, and like she's making it look easy, and a lot of them are from three. And let me just go ahead and put this out there for all my female hoopers. 5'10" is the new normal guard size. In other words, if you are 5'10" or below, you are a guard. The only true bigs who I've really seen, like in college and even WNBA, overseas, whatever, have been like 6'5" plus. That's your like Liz Cambage, your what's her name? I'm literally like Kalani Brown, like all these like true bigs who are like 6'5" plus are playing the true post big position in today's game for the women's side. And it's the same thing on the men's side. If you are 6'4" and below, you're really a point guard, to be honest. Like, I'm 6'4". When I played pro, I had to learn how to handle the basketball like a point guard, because there was no way I was playing a two guard, because two guard, it's like 6'7" to like 6'5" to 6'7" is usually your two guard. 6'7" to 6'9" is usually your 3. 6'9", 6'10", your 4. Anything above that, you're a true 5. So again, it's just the evolution of basketball, which is why when you are younger, you should not pigeonhole yourself into a position. I'm talking to all my middle school players out there. You are not a big, quote unquote. Get that out of your head right now. Boys and girls, you are not a big. I don't care if you are a middle school boy and you are 6'4", you are still not a big. You need to handle the basketball. Because think about it. At your age and skill level right now, if you are 6'4" and you bring the ball up as a point guard, who is going to stop you? Who? But if you go down into the post every possession and they just double and triple team you, will you make a couple of buckets? I mean, sure, whatever. But that's not your true position anyway. And by the time you get to high school, let's say you only grow 2 more inches to 6'6", you're still not a big. Like, so if you haven't developed that side of your game, guard skills, then you're just missing out on that whole aspect of who you truly are as a player. All my lady hoopers out there, if you are around that 5'10" range, learn how to handle the basketball and learn how to shoot. Get out of the post. Like just learn how to do those two things and learn how to do them well. Because colleges, if you are that tall and you can shoot the ball without being in the post all the time, that's invaluable, yo. All right. Let's also talk, still on the women's side. Stanford lost to Texas over this past week. What a great game. Oh my God. Texas really gave it to Stanford. This is on the women's side as well. Texas, your coach is phenomenal. Their game plan was so damn good. They were so aggressive with Stanford. Stanford looked like they didn't know what to do, to be honest. Like, they were getting bullied. Like, they were getting pushed off the boards for rebounds. They were diving for every loose ball. Texas was. It was a great game. Came down to the wire. Texas hit some big shots down the stretch. I will say this, Haley Jones on Stanford, that needs to be like their Jason Tatum. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, she gets the ball at the end of games, get out the way. I'm going 1v1. I'm going to work. Like, I really think that's who they need to lean on in late game situations. Again, it was the first game of the season. It's the first time you have fans back in the building. So there were a whole bunch of variable factors that went into, Stanford losing that game. I still think Haley Jones needs to be more assertive, which I think she was, because I saw some stats from her last game that she played. Pretty sure that she balled out. So Haley Jones, definitely be a little more aggressive when you have the basketball. You're so damn good. There's nobody that can stop you. So, all right, let's move on over to some NBA action. Golden State is back. I mean, honestly, I'm just going to put up highlights. There's really not much else for me to say besides Golden State is back. And when I say back, I use that word in quotation marks. They never really went anywhere. What happened is the pieces that they had finally learned their system, and then they finally started to ball out. So again, to all my young hoopers, instead of just chasing after the quote-unquote best team, if you can stay with one team and keep that team together, and you continue to learn each other's tendencies, and you continue to learn that system, that'll be better for you in the long run, especially as a younger player, Because all those guys that were there for the past 2 years when the Warriors sucked, they learned the system, and they've got to be around these great shooters every single day. Of course, you're going to become a better shooter when you have Steph and Clay and shit practicing and shooting around with you each day. Like, come on now. Like, that's a no-brainer. All right, moving on. Hoops Academy middle school boys. Let me just give a quick shout out to y'all. Y'all have been playing all summer and fall up until yesterday. I had to miss the second game. I know, super sad about that. But their first game, they balled out. They came back. They played Heritage. Our middle school boys team is tough, yo. I won't even cap about that shit. Like, they are tough. I love the way they play. They are so unselfish. We have some real good shooters. We have some guys who can go one-on-one. And when we lock in defensively, we are tough to beat. So shout out to the middle school boys again. Y'all really balled out. All right, moving into the last little segment of today's HA podcast. I am no longer at Addenbrooke. Now moved on to Dakota Ridge. Big shout out to the Eagles, yo. Yeah, man, I'm like super excited. I won't even cap. So I'm on the girls' side, helping out at all three levels. Player development, strength and conditioning, assistant coach, team cook, team mom, whatever you want to put on there, whatever. No, I'm playing. But I'm super excited to be a part of the Dakota Ridge family. Big shout out to y'all. Yeah, man, I'm just really excited to get really damn good, just to get better each day. Like, nothing else to be said. There's no hate or love lost towards Addenbrooke. It's just time to move on. And all right, y'all, big shout out to you guys for tuning back in to the HA podcast. Again, I do apologize for the delay. Going to get back to these weekly little podcast segments. Trying to keep them around this length, nothing too crazy. But yeah, until next time, remember, big mental health checks, whether that's with me, Coach Nick, Coach Clay, someone that you really, really do trust. You can tell them about anything. All right, y'all. Until next time, Coach A out.